During spring break, I went to Florida. I flew on Monday afternoon from Chicago to Florida, stayed 7 days, and flew back home Sunday morning. Monday around 4 p.m., I got on a plane that flew from Chicago to Atlanta, Georgia. I transferred to a plane to get me from Atlanta to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Unfortunately, there were rain delays, and I waited 1.5 hours before I could get on my plane. When I arrived in Atlanta, I then missed my transfer flight because of the delay. I waited 45 minutes before the next flight. When I arrived in Fort Lauderdale, my aunt picked me up in her car. We drove 2 hours to her house in Key Largo. We arrived at her house around midnight, and we both passed out from all the traveling. The next day, we went to Key West. Key West is almost 2 hours south of Key Largo. This was my first time in Key West at age 21. I had not been there before, or I had been there before but couldn't drink. Now I could drink, and that was exciting in and of itself. We went to a restaurant and I ate a chicken curry wrap. Delicious. Then we browsed the stores and I bought a few gifts for friends and family back at home. We watched the sunset and drank key lime colada. Our last stop was a Mexican restaurant for dinner, and I ate tacos, rice, and beans. We drove and rested up for the next day. Day 3, we went to the bird sanctuary. There were tons of birds, but mainly pelicans. We watched as they were fed fish, and a swarm of them ate it all up. We finished our last-minute souvenir shopping and bought some birthday gifts. There were signs at that store with funny sayings like, "Beer, been helping men dance since 1853. Ha ha." The next day, we drove from Key Largo to Fort Lauderdale, where I met up with my grandma and great-grandma. For the next 3 days, I stayed with them. I flew from Fort Lauderdale to Chicago. It was an enjoyable vacation for the most part. The Thursday before my vacation, I was in a car accident. 3 vehicles and 1 bus were involved. The car in front of me was a Jeep Cherokee. The car behind me was a Chrysler. The vehicle behind the Chrysler was a charter bus. The first vehicle had the driver plus 2 passengers. Luckily, myself, the drivers of the Chrysler and bus were the only others involved. It happened going east on 9094. The first vehicle stopped abruptly from a car in front of him, so he slammed on his brakes in time. The Chrysler behind me didn't. The bus behind him didn't. Most of the damage was on my car, but the Chrysler couldn't drive his car because of a leaky fuel tank. Police came and told us to fill out our name, number, and car insurance policy number on the form he provided. The whole day and next day, I had severe neck and head pain. I did still go to Michigan that weekend, and with enough rest and painkillers, I was fine. Josiah and I went to Michigan to celebrate our friend's 21st birthday. It was definitely a weekend to remember. My spring break was full of exciting and memorable events. First, I was in my first real car accident. I went to Big Rapids, Michigan via Amtrak. I went to Fort Lauderdale, Key Largo, and Key West via plane and car. And now school and work are back in full swing.